Hey, what's up guys? Blunt Guts here. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I always appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. We've got some banners coming this weekend. I am going to talk about them in this video. Let's go over what we've got coming down the pipeline. So starting on Friday, we are going to have the regular 2x banners. Always a decent time to pull, but nothing special. There should be no FOMO as far as that's concerned, because you will have another opportunity next week and the week after that and the week after that and the week after that. These are there every single goddamn weekend, so I would not be worried about missing out on those. However, you might be worried about missing out on this banner right here. Fenris, Magda. Also got Olag and shoot, what is this dude's name? Gluttony. I forgot. One of the first epics I ever got, actually. And then Selkath here as well. I know nothing about Gluttony and Selkath. They are kind of forgotten heroes as far as I'm concerned, because the epics in this game, for the most part, with a few exceptions, are really bad. One of those exceptions, though, is Maul, who is a phenomenal epic. And Fenris is his legendary counterpart. He is a certified badass. He is somebody that, despite the fact that I intended to save my summons, I don't think I'm going to be able to get away from pulling for. I'm going to be pulling at least a couple of legendaries on these banners here. I'm going to be hoping for the best. Let's go over Fenris' Awakenings right now so you can find out how many you need to be pulling to get the most out of this hero. All right, so there he is. In addition to just being a phenomenal hero, he looks so goddamn cool. I love this like whole celestial centaur thing that he's got going on. Nicely done, game designers. Touche. You got me. Not just with the skills, but also with the looks. Let's go talk about his Awakenings. So Fenris is an AoE marksman. He is a control champion. There's a lot of slows, knockback, stuns. He also provides rage regen to allies that are shielded, regardless of range on the map. Really, really cool hero. He does hit very hard with his ultimate, but otherwise does not do a ton of damage. So with that as kind of the backdrop, let's talk about these Awakenings. The A1, Undying Will, also grants allies in range a shield equal to 25% of their own max HP. Now, this is important because, like I said, he provides 1% rage regen per second, which is Eloin level rage regen. This is going to provide 10% regen to any allies that are in range and do receive this shield. Really, really awesome skill. It means that you're not dependent on like a Desomi or a Northern Lord in order to provide steady shields and really utilize that rage regen that he does provide. The A2 is -3 cost. I do wish this was an attack bonus, but the cost is going to be useful in places like Arena, and likely in some future content where having a control hero like this is really valuable. The A3, Cosmic Burst, inflicts defense reduction on enemies. That is a 20% defense reduction. It is not the highest in the game, but this is typically what you see. This is the bigger version of what you typically see as far as a defense reduction. Now, Cosmic Burst does have a 10-second internal cooldown, meaning that you should have, assuming that you have enemies to hit, a 20% defense reduction that is up about 50% of the time on 6 enemies. That is really, really good. The A4 is plus 5% penetration. It's a little lower. Typically, you see 8% penetration on A4s. I don't know why his is lower, except for the fact that he just hits incredibly hard on his ultimate. I wonder if they were worried about giving him too much defense ignore. That could potentially be the reason. The A5 increases the damage multiplier of Undying Will by 300%. It's already at 800% when fully skilled up. This means it is going to go up to 1,100%. It is nearly a 40% increase in the damage output of his ultimate, which is already pretty damn high. So the A5 is very, very big for his single hit damage on the ultimate. What I have seen, you can go check out my damage breakdown. I will have a link to it in this video. Fenris does not do a ton of damage over time, but his individual hits, his ultimate in particular, is very, very strong. Personally, I think that the stopping point, if you are a low spender, if you are able to get him to A1, that is a really, really good spot to be in, because I don't think that right now he is going to be used in a Northerner comp in, say, like GVG. And I do think the A1 is going to give you a lot more flexibility, still get access to that rage regen to help your allies, and take advantage of what is one of the most compelling parts of his kit, which is that crazy, crazy rage regen for shielded allies. Now, if you wanted to push further, the A3 is awesome as well. And then if you are a big spender, if you are a whale, if you're in like a top 5 guild, and you just want to get the best of everything, the A4 and the A5 are certainly going to enhance his ability to take down some of the tougher demon soldiers in the game. But I do think that for most of us, the A1 is going to be sufficient. So that is my thought. Let's go talk about Magda's Awakenings. Magda. Yeah, she ain't good. Well, she's good. I like Magda. Her Awakenings are not good. her awakenings are not very good at all. So the A1 is just one of the oddest awakenings in the game. When deployed, immediately restores 5 costs. Now, the downside of that is you do need to have the full cost to deploy her, but then they'll give you 5 back, which is weird. Does not do anything for her in particular. I suppose this helps out if you're trying to use her in arena or something like that, or in other places, I suppose. I think at this point in the game, I've beaten everything, so I kind of forget that people are trying to conquer other content as well. That cost restore could help you out in certain instances, for sure, but it is kind of underwhelming as far as a long-term investment in the hero. The A2 plus 300 attack, that's nice. That is her base attack. It will get magnified by all the attack bonus substats that you do have on your gear, not to mention main stats that you do have on your gear. The A3, after an ally dies in range, attacks 5 more targets for 12 seconds, something you can't really control and not something I like. With that said, if an ally does die in range, theoretically that is a time when you might need some extra damage. So it is nice reactive damage, I suppose, but very situational usage. The A4 is 8% penetration. I do like that, but it's not huge when you consider the fact you have to pull 5 copies in order to get it. And then the A5 during the ultimate increases attack speed by 100, which is just not, it's not all that great. A lot of heroes do have a very similar awakening, but it's on the A1, on the A3, something like that. Pulling 6 copies and getting this is just, it's just a very minor increase to her power, and I just don't think it is worthy of an A5, but that's just my perspective. Let's go talk about the other big banner that is coming this weekend. All right, so the other thing that we do have going on this weekend is Praetus and Uredin. They are so excited to sell you these heroes that they put out special ancient packs for you, and they claim that there was a gift. They put a video out on that a little bit ago, which I'm just kind of indignant about that whole thing. It's just a bad look in my mind. But in any case, the heroes are fantastic, and how good they are has nothing to do with that ancient pack. So we're just going to pretend that doesn't exist for the purposes of this video. Uredin is a bad hero, but what he is fantastic at is being a battle power stat stick to affiliate to your demon soldiers. He is the best in the game as far as non-lords anyway for affiliating to demon soldiers. I do have a video out. Again, I will link that in the description of this video where I go over the per awakening increase in BP that you can expect when you do get Uredin, but suffice it to say that going from A0 all the way up to A5 is somewhere in the range of a 10 to 15,000 battle power boost. Top end Uredins these days are hitting between 130 and 135k battle power, which is just crazy to think about. That is obviously involves not just the luck in getting enough copies of Uredin in order to do that, but also being lucky enough to have enough tier 3 pieces to really just deck him out. Not to mention Uredin exclusive gear and things like that that really do amp up BP. But it is possible these days, and you can't get there without stacking awakenings. I am the proud owner of an A5 Praetus, so Praetus does not really move me, but I am considering pulling on this banner purely for Uredin because he is the best at what he does. Fortunately, it's not really him doing it, it's demon soldiers doing it by proxy of him, but at the same time, it's the way the game works. So I am thinking about pulling, despite the fact that I do have an A5 Praetus already. Speaking of Praetus, let's go talk about him. All right, so I can't get through this video without talking a little bit about the big fat man. He is the best hero in Watcher of Realms, in my opinion. I do think that you can make a case for Ingrid. Certainly, in certain game modes, Ingrid does exceed Praetus, but I do think, as far as on the whole, Praetus and good God, what a hole it is. Praetus is the best hero in the game. He enables the best faction in the game, certainly for PvE content and a lot of PvP content. He is the best hero in the game. So one thing about Praetus before I do launch into his awakenings here, I talked about Uredin being a battle power stat stick. Praetus can be used similarly. He is one of the highest battle power lords in the game, and the more awakenings you get on him, of course, the higher potential battle power you can get. Lords do get an inherent battle power boost that is hidden in the game. I think it's an increase of about 8% over the battle power that you do see on the character sheet. So my Praetus in my battle power gear can hit about 115,000 battle power, but when affiliated, it functions as if he is a 125,000 battle power unit, which is a massive, massive boost. I think the only lord in the game that does significantly outdo Praetus on battle power is Eovar, who can get up over 120k. which is just nuts. Getting back to the Awakenings here, aside from just getting more and helping your battle power out, they're all really good. With the exception of the A4 anyway, they are all really, really good. But in my mind, the A1 is by far the most important one. It really does change the dynamic of how the hero works because it allows him to cycle back to his ultimate much more quickly than he would be able to otherwise. So the A1 reads, when basic attack deals damage to the target, restores 3% rage. So you build him fast, and you can see how that's really going to minimize the time between ultimates. Typically, when my Praetus finishes his ultimate, he's already back up at 40 to 45% rage. He can cycle through very, very quickly. It really does enable him as a hero. The A2 is nice as well, plus 5% base attack for him, but it's also going to give 5% attack to his faction allies, to the arbiters that are on his squad. The A3, when the number of Light of Judgment, those are his summons, reaches 5, increases his attack by 15%. That's nice. Attack is obviously his best stat, so a 15% post-deployment increase to that is massive for him. The A4, Rage Regen Auto +1. This is the one that I say is just not really all that great. It's also an A4, and I never really expect all that much from A4, so I'm not all that surprised. The A5, for every 15 strikes received from Light of Judgment, the target receives 200% extra true damage based on Praetus' attack. And again, true damage is kind of his calling card. 200% extra true damage is amazing, and you're basically going to get it every third strike from your summons once you do have the max of 5 out there. So that is really, really nice as well. All of these are really good. But again, the A1 is the Awakening that is most impactful as far as the way that the hero does play. So I do think that that is the one that you necessarily should shoot for if you are a low spender. If you're a big spender, hell, you should be pulling everything. But let's be honest, if you're a big spender, you probably already got an A5 Praetus, right? So yeah, guys, that is what is coming this weekend. I do think that it is worth noting that there have been some rumors, some whispers, that there's going to be some new stuff coming down the pipe. I would just encourage everybody to save a little something for a rainy day in the future, because I do think there may be some things that we are going to be getting down the line that you're going to want to pull on. And I think that a weekend like this, where we've got an exciting new hero like Fenris, where we've got Praetus and Uredin, two heroes that they know, and by they I mean the developers do know, are going to spur spending, that are going to spur people to spend a lot of their saved resources. I don't want to call it bait, because it can't really be bait when Praetus is the reward, right? But I will say that they may be setting you up to feel like you're jonesing for some summons in the near future. And I do think it would be wise to save just a little bit, in case there's something else you want to pull for in the near future. That is my 2 cents. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please do take a second and click that thumbs up button. Please do subscribe to my channel if you do like my content. I'll catch you all next time.